Flyers play the Rangers tonight in the preseason. They got to get down to 23 PT by October 11th at 5 o'clock, but a couple of injuries have maybe made things easier for them. Flyers radio analyst Steve Coates joins us here for a look at what the Flyers still need to accomplish with their roster and what they need to accomplish on the ice as they finish up this preseason. And they'll open the season a week from tomorrow night in Los Angeles against the Kings in a game you can hear right here on 97.3 ESPN. Steven, how are you?
Michael, outstanding. And how about yourself?
Doing well. I'm sitting here next to Pete Thompson, which ruins my day a little bit, but, it's part of the job. Part of the job.
A little tight for space there, Michael?
A little tight for space.
We're in the DJ booth. We could have you and Rick with us, Coatsy, and we'd be plenty of room.
Put it this way. He's got the goalie jersey on. I'm getting close to putting that one on. But let's getting ready for the end of this preseason here, which I'm sure that everybody's excited for because, the regular season starts next week. But Scott Lawton getting injured, Brandon Manning nicked up as well. I guess that's going to make some easier decisions for Ron Hextall coming up here.
Well, I think anytime you have it creates a little bit of a problem, but I think in the long run it really doesn't affect anything because you're going to end up doing the things you wanted to do anyway. In other words, you're going to have them there for a couple of games, or according to how long Manning and Lawton are out. I heard Lawton's out in a month. So you keep that player up, but you're going to want him back. You want him in the lineup. So those decisions are probably still going to be made next week. But when I say next week, the end of this week, because you got one more game on Saturday night against the Boston Bruins, and they head to L.A. next Wednesday. So those decisions are probably 95% done, I would imagine. Konecny, Provorov, those are decisions still to be made.
Yeah, Lawton 3 to 4 weeks is what they announced. The team announced Coatsy and Brandon Manning week to week. But as far as the lines go tonight, you mentioned Konecny and Provorov. Konecny's going to play left wing on the third line, and what are they hoping to see out of him or learn out of him? And then Provorov, he's played just about every game.
Yeah, Provorov's going to play with Mark Streit tonight, and he's been very impressive. There's no two ways about it. That when you look at a younger player, you just want to look at if he looks out of place. And Provorov looks like he belongs. He doesn't look out of place. He looks like he belongs. He's very poised, very understanding. And in talking to the coaching staff, absolutely unbelievable as far as his hockey sense is concerned and the understanding of the game. So if you apply your skills and your size and your athletic ability with your brains, this guy meets all the criteria.
Hey, Coachy, I know as you get deeper into the preseason schedule, that means you're seeing more NHL caliber players. Is this a big test for Konecny for the Flyers to see how he handles himself against more NHL level players?
I think it's going to be a test for both Provorov and Konecny. I think that it's a great opportunity for them because they're going to face a Rangers team that's going to be missing, maybe a couple of guys, Stepan, Nash, and McDonough. Outside of that, they're all NHLers except for about two guys. So that's going to pretty well be a real test on the road in Madison Square Garden, which is a real hard building to play in. I tell you what, Konecny the other night with his speed, he really seemed to show a lot more confidence and understanding, and it's directly proportional to his ability to be able to play with better players. The other night he played with Giroux. Last week in Allentown he played with Michael Raffle and Braden Shen. So you play with better people, you're going to be a better person, a better player rather, because no matter what you say about this game, you can only be as good as the guy that you're playing with. You need them and they need you.
A couple guys are going to make their preseason debut tonight, Coatsy, but that comes with an asterisk because of the World Cup. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare is back and Mark Streit back.
Yeah, Bellemare moves up into the third-line center position. Boyd Gordon is going to be on the fourth-line position. And I just love the way that Marc-Edouard Bellemare plays. He just comes and gives 150% every night. He plays all three positions forward-wise, and he just brings that element. He's not worried about dropping the gloves, and as from a European standpoint, a French European, I mean, it's very strange for him to be able to do that, but he does that. And then when you take a guy like Mark Streit, Streit just does so many things back at the blue line, first pass out of the zone, outstanding in the offensive zone. He's a leader, and he's been around a long time, and He's a real big part of the cog that makes this Flyers team go.
Coatsy, and you talked about Konecny and his speed, and Provorov, how poised he has been. I guess you look at the Flyers defensively. Provorov seems like the guy, and you've mentioned before that he's more ready. But who's the odd man out? It looked like Andrew McDonald. Last year they sent him down, but they seem to that he's been having a good camp. Who's kind of the odd man out if Provorov does stick in that was on the roster last year?
When you take a look at a training camp roster, you can look at all the combinations and permutations of what could possibly happen, and your chances of being right when it's all said and done is probably limited. When I say that, for years we've always said, oh, this guy's going to be great, that guy's going to be great, he's going to be in the lineup. What are we going to do with all the right wingers? What are we going to do with the left wingers? We got too many guys at this position. We have too many guys at defense. And then all of a sudden in November, you're looking for a brand-new defenseman. So it all falls into place. You just don't want to rush it. You don't want to take a chance on something that you would actually take a risk. There's no reason to, because so many different things, different combinations are going to take place from October through April. So when you take a look at this, you could start the season with 8 defensemen. Provorov could be the 8th. You could use him in a 10-game tryout to see how he's going to be. If you like him, he's going to stay. If you don't like him, you can send him back. Same thing with Konecny. So there's no rush as long as you stay under the cap and stay under the roster max for the National Hockey League. Right now, with Manning and Lawton being out, that's going to make it a lot easier to be under. So it's just a matter of sitting back and understanding which direction you want to go and have all the different scenarios in play so you're ready when those players come back.
So it's cap too, Coatsy, and then also if you expose guys to waivers, which guys you think you can slip through waivers and they go down to your minor league team, and which guys other teams might be interested in.
Yeah, the big key is whether a guy you feel that can go through waivers. So basically you got to role play and go to the other side and say, geez, do you think they take that guy? Do you think we could trade for that? And then you figure it out. Like a guy like Lawton, if he was to go through waivers, I doubt that he would go through because he's a former number one. And everybody always looks at number ones and says, okay, they didn't have a success there. Let's try him. We think we can change him and make him a better player because he was a number one pick. He must be pretty good. So when you take a look at that and then you figure, okay, Manning, where he's at in this equation. Also, a guy like Matt Reed's only played 2 preseason games. And he's out again tonight. And so all these different scenarios and Vanderbilt also. I don't think Vanderbilt would be picked up on a waiver wire either. So there's a lot of different things, different combinations like I mentioned. So you just got to sit back. And I know Ron Hextall is very capable of making the right decisions.
Well, real quick before we let you go, Radko Gudas is paired with Michael Del Zotto tonight. Any more retribution for Gudas and the Vesey hit the other night, or is that said and done?
Well, the only retribution might be the me running into the guy that wrote the article about how bad it was. And Gudas was the absolute worst person in the whole world to be able to hit a guy like Jimmy Vesey around the wall. And I just couldn't believe it. And then he said, well, aren't you supposed to play the puck? I got to run into that guy tonight. Understand that Gudas' game has taken the body, and we do have body contact still in the game. And when a young kid like Jimmy Vesey, who gets along the wall, who came out of Harvard, who was a highly touted free agent, they signed him here in New York, he's not playing college hockey anymore. He's up against the wall. You don't put the brakes on in the corner, facing the boards, 2 feet away, and figure you're going to get away with it. And that's what happened. So the onus is not on Gudas. The onus is on the player that got hit because he's got to protect himself. He's going to learn that he's not playing in Harvard anymore, and you're going to get the body taken on you. But to blame Gudas for it is just obnoxious.
Good stuff, Coatsy. We'll get you that writer's address.
Yeah, Flyers tonight over on 104.
Teach him, teach him that. Get him that book, Hockey for Beginners or whatever it is.
Gordie Howe wrote a book about hockey. That's how I learned about the game.
Well, tonight, hockey is on 104.1 FM and 1450 AM. And Friday night, the puck drops on 97.3 at 10:30 start here to kick off the season against the Kings. You'll hear Steve Coates and Tim Saunders.
Yes.
Thank you, Coatesy.
Hey, you hear I got the music going here for you. Guys can get into the feeling of the hockey game.
All right, we're into it. What's the music?
It's the Oregon here in Madison Square Garden.
The most historic building in the world.
Great stuff from Coach. Thanks, Coach.